Hey crafty people, this is Ellen with Edgy Designs, and thanks so much for stopping by today. Today we are going to make a birthday card, I believe, and I'm going to be using the Aall Create, and this is the Edgy spin dies, and so it's really cool. It's got a postage effect, but in a circle format, and we're going to be using this gorgeous mosaic paper. So let's get started. Look at this paper. This is just so gorgeous. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, I have to get that, and I need to make some kind of a amazing postage collage card with this. I love the way this looks. I've been seeing in some of my craft groups that people have been using stained glass window looking paper for this, and I thought this mosaic paper would be perfect for this technique. This came in a pack called Mosaic Moments, and it's an 8x8 paper pad, and you get 3 of each. But there's lots of different kinds of mosaic papers in here, so I just thought this was so gorgeous. So I'm going to do it with this one. I went ahead, I thought these 2 colors were great with this. And these are the Spellbinders. This is in the new collection. And this is the Lilac, and this is the Indigo. And I wanted to do a shaped card, which I don't do very often. So I needed to have a circle that was big enough to go behind here, which I didn't have in my regular collection for whatever reason. So I brought in another Aall Create die set, and this one is called Infinarty, and this had a big enough circle to go behind, so that worked out very well. So I cut the paper, so it was regular sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, and I folded that in half, and this circle is 5.5 inches, so that worked out perfectly since it needed to be 11 inches this way, and then I could just trim on this side. So what I did, and if you don't know how to do this, is to make a shaped card. You take whatever die it is, and then so the score line was up here, and you just scooch the die a little bit over, let me see how that is, a little bit over the score line, and so it won't cut there. So then what you're left with is a hinge, so you can make a shaped card. So that's a kind of a cool trick to do. And then I cut this out of the lilac, and I'm going to be putting that on here on the front, so that works. And then this, so what I want to do is I want to be able to piece in the shapes here. And this die set comes with all of the little pieces for that. The challenge is though is that I want to try to keep the picture of the mosaic continuous. So you could just put these all over here and just cut them out. But I actually want them to be, specific and continuous. So what I'm going to do is going to place this on here where I would like it. I kind of like the bright colors over here a little bit. And I'm just going to trim this up, so we're not wasting any of this gorgeous paper. And you can use these and, you know, put, look at this strip here, like a decorative piece on the inside, which I probably will do. So we have that. And then what needs to happen from there is that we need to kind of piece these pieces into here and then run it all through the die cut machine. So I'm gonna go through and put all these in. I'll probably speed it up a little bit. I'm gonna tape them down. I just have some pixie tape, and then I will run it through the die cut machine. Alright, just checking the back. Looks like we're good to go. Alright, so it looks like most of these dots stayed in the die, which I will brush out later. But if you have one of these postage kind of dies with all these dots, instead of, you know, poking each one, I have this foam mat here from Sizzix, and Simon Says Stamp also has a little mini one. It's like a paw print that seems to have walked away from me. But anyway, what you can do is take your pokey tool and you just run it down and they will come right out, and then they will collect on this foam so that it makes it a lot easier to kind of keep them contained, and it makes it easier to get rid of, you know, get them all out. So like if this whole thing was full, if you just went, they would all just fall out. So that is cool. That looks really awesome. These have little kind of distressed marks in them, so that's kind of fun. And if you were, you know, using this for something that you didn't need a continuous pattern, then you could just take all those dies and put them on a, you know, on a piece of paper and just cut them out. But because I wanted the continuous, I had to line them up perfectly within here so they would look like a continuous pattern when we put them on the backer. Let's see. I think one. Nope. Hopefully we have them all. Oop. They decided to stay on these two. I was gonna say, I'm like, I think we have more pieces to worry about. Looks like those got all punched out. But now too, you can have this, and you know, if you had a different project, like look at how cool that is, right? And do something in the middle of these things. If you had a different color, and inlay, and you could do an inlay even. So if this was like a white or a pink or something, you could lay it in there and even make a cool little pattern on that. So you can get a 2-for-1, which is always fun. All right, so now we have to try to figure out which which goes in which, and which way is our pattern here. Sounds like UPS is here and my pop-up is not happy about that. So the ones that are going to be tricky are these two because they're rectangular with no you know, no, all edges are the same, so it could either go this way or this way. So we gotta figure this out. I think this way. Actually, I think that's it. Well, you know what we could do that would be really smart? Sometimes I just... There's no reason to make things harder for yourself. Sometimes when you're crafting, you forget the easiest things to help yourself out. And then you're like, ugh, that was really silly. Okay. So now we know where they go. Should we pop them up? Or I wonder if we should pop this off of the... Oh, somebody's doing work outside, sounds like. My apologies. Let's see. Because these are such oddly shaped pieces, I think I'm just going to glue them straight on. And then we can figure out if we want to do foam tape behind the base or on the sentiment or all that. So I'm just going to glue these on and I'll speed it up a little bit. Alright, let's check this out. And as you probably noticed, I ended up putting the frame over the back to cover so that we could use it as a guide, which can help us line up all of those pieces. I thought that would be a lot easier than just trying to eyeball it to center it. Alright, and then we just peel up carefully. give this a back rub. Make sure these are stuck down very well. I think that looks so pretty. My goodness. And then you can also decide which way do you want it to go. I think I'm going to go this way, but... So, let's see. Should we pop it up? Should we leave it flat? I think I'm going to leave it flat. I think. Because I think it's going to be hard to get this, because you want this to be centered on here and centered straight up and down so that this is correct when you, instead of like if you accidentally, well, it looks kind of cool too, actually. I'm like, it looks kind of cool on a diagonal. Maybe purposefully diagonal it. That is an interesting thought. That is an interesting conundrum. Alright. I'm just going to set this out on here. I think this is the one I want to use. I'm not sure yet, though. This is the Birch Press Happy Birthday Vintage Sentiment. But I just want to put this on here to try to get the... Yeah, I think that's a good size for that. I think I'll do that. I think if we weren't doing the happy birthday, I would do this a little off kilter, but I do want it straight since we have the sentiment. Alright, so this kind of poses an interesting, how to line this up exactly straight. Alright, I'm gonna try to use my Misty. And let's see. I'm gonna look through here and line up. I don't know if you can see it, but there are lines through the, there's like grid lines on there. So I basically want to put this on here. Straight. And then I can use this grid line here to kind of follow along with the score mark. So wish me luck. I'll try my best. Okay. Use my stamp squisher thing. My pressure tool. Squish that down. Let's see how we did. Uh-huh. It looks like our image is straight. We have our hinge at the top. All good things. Alright, now we need to figure out this sentiment situation. I think that'll work. And then maybe we can put some gems on there. I'm trying to think. This is kind of an interesting, it's like an inside outside kind of die. Let's see, I'm just trying to think of what colors do we want to use. We could even put in some of the mosaic paper. So like if we wanted that shining through. So we need to do that. And then the outline. Maybe the indigo. Alright, let me cut these out and then we will have a play. Alright, so I had cut this out. On the back of the indigo, I'd put an Altenew double-sided adhesive sheet so it would be easier to stick down. I had originally cut the backer out of the mosaic paper, and I like the way that this looks, but then I feel like when you put it on there it totally gets lost. So I cut out a piece of the lilac, and I think that really sets it off. So we're gonna go with that. The cool thing though about this die is that it cuts out the inside. So you get the backer piece, but then you get the happy birthday and all of the letters drop out. So you could get really creative with what you want to do, and you could, you know, inlay different colors, do all kinds of crazy stuff with this one. So I did cut out a second piece of the lilac so that we can kind of stack these up and give it a little bit of dimension. I don't think it's going to be very easy to get foam tape behind this one. There's a lot of cutouts and things like that. So the easiest way is to just cut another layer of the backer, and then it gives you a little bit of dimension there. Usually 2 or 3 layers is good to go. Alright, so then this one will be a sticker. And then you just line it up and it matches exactly the outline. Oh, my kitties are snoring. They were up all night mousing, so they're a little sleepy today. Yeah, I think that looks great. Okay. So now we have all these letters that we could use on another project. So that's pretty cool too. I'm getting a lot of twofers on this. Which is always good to have. I think I kind of like it offset a little bit. That looks pretty straight. Alright, so we'll get that sticky stuck. And then we have lots of options. So we have these crazy sparkly dazzles. These are from Paper Wishes, and they have purple. We have the iridescent silver and the plain black. Or we have Pink Fresh Studios iridescent dewdrops, which will pick up a lot of the purples and the pinks in there. And I also have the Hero Hues, the purple, so I have to think about it. But and I wanted to show you, this is where I had put the double-sided adhesive. And I really like the Altenew sheets. You can just cut them to what you need. And they're not too thick, and the backing is really easy to peel off. So they are one of my new favorite double-sided adhesive sheets. A lot of times I hate when you peel off the back and then the sticky is on the other side, and then, or it's on this side and then it's not right, and then there's stick all over your hands, and it's like, ugh. Do not have that problem with the Altenew. So here is just some black. You can see because I don't really know if we want to do, I don't know if the black is too, like, I kind of want it to be really sparkly, but these are great. They're the black Positively Dazzling Gems. I'm gonna check out these iridescent dewdrops. These are also some of my favorites because they pick up on all of the colors. I don't know if you can see. But they're changing. It's like blue, purple will change to whatever's around there. So This is kind of a weird design to try to figure out how to place these. Alright, we got those iridescent dewdrops on there, and I just did like a little trail going down just to add a little bit of interest. And as the glue dries and it becomes clear again, the iridescence will really start to show again, but you can definitely, on these bottom ones. So I just have, it's hard to see on such a busy background, but there's just like a nice little smattering trail down there, if you will. So I think that looks really cute, just adds a little interest to there. I'm just letting those dry. What I did off camera is I cut out with the decal a circle to go inside, and I stamped on here, this is the Aall, this is the Simple Sentiments, and I did Enjoy Your Special Day with the Gina K. Wild Wisteria. So that will go right in there. And before I cut it out, I added a piece of the mosaic paper on there just to add some interest. So then when it got cut out, it cut that in the same shape. So it just looks really cool, you know, with that matching look there. I was kind of half considering, since these are flat, I was considering putting some in here. Let's see. See if I can scooch this one a little bit. So that adds just a little more interest and sparkle to the inside, and especially since these are completely flat, it's not going to get in the way of your card shutting or anything like that. So we can put this on the inside, and I'll give you a show of what that would look like. Just center that up in here best we can. It's hard with the decal edge. Okay. So here is our project today. We have the beautiful, beautiful mosaic paper. We use the Aall Create, the Edgy spin, which is the circle postage. We use the Infinarty to make a shaped card base. We use the decal circle to cut our inside panel to write on. We've got our Pink Fresh dewdrops in the iridescent on the front to add a little bit more interest. And we have the Birch Press Designs, the Happy Birthday Vintage Sentiments for this. So I think this is a really cute happy birthday card, and it was very easy to make. Just a little bit of pattern paper, and you could use whatever postage die you have. If you have the rectangle, you can go for that and do that. The waffle flower postage dies do also have a second one that's called waffle flower postage collage blocks, which would allow you to cut out the panels for each of the waffle flower postage die spots for the rectangle there. Alright, I think that is it. If you found value in today's video, I would love it if you could hit that subscribe button and help me grow my channel and be able to reach other crafters like you. That would be a great help for me. Come join me over on Facebook, on Pinterest, and I have a new blog, so you can come see me over there. I will list everything I used today. I do have affiliate links, and everything will be in the description box. So, you know, I encourage you to use what you have, but if anything piqued your interest today, all that information will be listed there. I think that is it. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and until next time, like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
Here are a couple more videos I thought you might like. Thanks so much for watching.